I am Loki of Asgard.
Yo, how's it going, everybody? Guess what time it is? It is tea time, and welcome to my second review of episode 2 of season 2 of Loki that's on Disney Plus, man. Once again, this was another great episode, man, but it was not a 10 out of 10, just for like small little reasons here and there. I can just tell you about right now. First, I was kind of confused with what was going on based off of how they started this episode. And two, I kind of feel like this is being a little bit rushed. I mean, from what I was told about Loki season 2, that it is only going to be a 8 episode season. So maybe that's why something feels rushed. But at the same time, I don't like that, because like you don't really get to, like, some questions you don't really get answered when it's stuff like that, and you don't really get to really like immerse yourself into the story as long as you would like to or need to when it comes to certain things, especially when it's a very great written story like Loki that's based off of season 1 and the first episode. But besides that, everything that I explained in the first review for episode 1 is basically the same. Great acting. Obi does return in this episode also, so I'm pretty sure since Obi's a new character, he's gonna be coming back and back and back, especially off of how important his role was in episode 1, and seeing how his role is gonna be important in episode 2. Definitely gonna look forward to seeing more Obi. Finally see Sylvie in this episode, so we get to see what she's been up to since season 1, which is great. We found out more things that's going on with the TVA. I finally remember what the name of the place was, the TVA. Finally found out more about what's going on, what the other people besides Loki, Morris, B-15, what everybody else is trying to do while they're all looking for Sylvie. It's just a really great episode, man. Like, even though my 2 reasons I feel does not give it a 10 out of 10, I still give it very high. Like, I can tell you right now, my rating for this episode is a 9 out of 10. Everything else about it was great. The plot still going on about finding Sylvie, the interaction with each and every character, where he's not a new character, but I don't remember him in the first season, and I barely remember him in episode 1 of season 2. B5, who's also like another security officer or police of the TVA that was working with B15. If you don't know, B15 is the female secure officer that's working with Morris and Mobius. I said Morris, Mobius, and Loki on trying to find Sylvie. Mostly this whole episode is basically based off of them finding him, talking to him about what has been going on, where's Sylvie, and then Loki and Mobius fighting Sylvie, and then we find out something else that happens. One of the best things about this episode is, one, the beginning, because I like the little somewhat action chase scene they do when they're chasing after B5, and then the things that happen afterwards once they find Sylvie. Like that. That's so crazy. I will get more depth into that in my spoiler side of my video. But besides that, yeah, it was a great episode. We also get to see a little more of Loki's. I'm not. I say original. I'm not original, but it's more like we get to see Loki as the Loki that we all get to starting knowing him as. We also get some of his magic in this episode also, because they kind of like not remove, but they didn't put a lot of mischief and magic going on when it came to Loki. And I mean, I think they did a little bit. And like towards the end of season 1, they gave, like, when he found Sylvie and everything, they started putting some of his magic to use and everything, which is cool. But I'm glad that they're implementing more of his magic and mischievous ways in the beginning of this season. Like, we also get to take a look at like how it feels to be on the opposite side of the law, because again, Loki has always been on the evil side. He's always been the one to get captured, always be the one to fight the good guys, always the one to be interrogated and everything, and how he always tries to mind fuck the heroes, like how he did in the Avengers movie with Black Widow. Now we get to see Loki on the reverse side, Whereas one, they do end up finding, as you saw in the background, they do end up finding B5, capturing him, taking him back to the TVA, and they interrogate him because they want to know where's Civ yet. We get to see Loki on the opposite side of what he's used to, and basically gets to take the verbal beating from the villain, or quote unquote villain, because B5, he's not really a villain. He's just a guy that was following orders, and he ended up saying, I don't want to do this no more. I want to like live my own life, because once again, everybody knows now that they're variants. Everybody in TVA knows that they're a variant. Well, not all, but mostly like the officers and the higher ups, they know. So after he found Sylvie, which she ends up telling Loki that he does, he decides to say, I found her, but I don't want to do this no more. I want to live my life, the life I had before I was taken away by He Who Remains, which once again, He Who Remains is Kane, for everybody that doesn't know. So we get to see him basically pick and like try to like screw with Loki's head in this episode, and we get to see like how Loki takes it. Like normally Loki would be the one telling the heroes, you're this, you're that, you think you're so X, Y, and Z, or other stuff, and now he's the one taking it on the opposite end. And I like that because it's like he's like the way Tom Hiddleston was portraying it is almost like Loki was like, whew, okay. So that's how it feels on the opposite side. And that was, I liked that. I like to see that different kind of looking Loki. We also get to see how everything's been affecting Mobius also, because B5 starts to attack Mobius. Like, you know this is not real. You know that you was taken away from your real life. You know that everything you thought to believe is fake. You don't, this is not your life. Your life is somewhere else on the time stream, whatever. And Mobius kind of like snaps at him a little bit, because somewhere deep down inside, Mobius knows like, I had a life somewhere, but this is all I know. And it probably scares him to think that way, because what if I end up like Brad is basically Mobius if he found out who he was before the TVA and decided to say fuck all y'all. So I'm really feeling like they're gonna end up picking more at Mobius' story in this season, and we're probably gonna see him have to like make a decision to like choose his life, or probably, I'm not gonna say save the world or the universe or whatever, the multiverse. It's gonna be something that's gonna make him like tug with his choices and with everything, you know. Um, and B5, he also brought up a very interesting um, thing when he was like being interrogated. He was saying like to Mobius and B15, like, you know, Loki's really just using you guys. Like, he's probably just using you guys to get what he wants, and he's probably gonna end up killing you guys. And that makes me think, like, yeah, Loki at this point in the story of the whole Marvel multiverse and everything since the beginning, he's kind of have been doing things to get his way. But since he's been in the TVA, it's kind of like he switched gears after he found out what his fate was. Because remember, this Loki is the Loki that was taken from the first Avengers movie after he fell with the Tesseract. This is that Loki. And in season 1 of the TV show, he finds out of his future, everything that happens with him and Thor, Asgard's fall, Ragnarok, finds out that he's killed by Thanos, finds out that what he did killed his mother, finds out that what happened with him killed his father. Like, this Loki finds out his whole life up to the point of his death. So I'm curious to want to like, I don't really know how like the comics went or everything like that, because you know Marvel, they sometimes, you know, they make their own little stuff here and there and stuff. So it makes me wonder, like, are they gonna make Loki somewhat of like an anti-hero now? Like, yeah, he'll help the heroes when need be, but he still do things that he wants to do, almost like Black Cat. You know, she's kind of an anti-hero. She'll help Spider-Man every now and then, but if she sees something that she wants, she'll take it. Or like, or better yet, like Bucky. We'll put Bucky like that, Winter Soldier. Yeah, he helps out and everything, but you know, Cap. I'm not saying Cap is against killing, but he's justice. Bucky does what needs to be done to get the job done. You feel me? Um, Killmonger. Killmonger did what he did for his people, but it was just the wrong way of doing it. But he was more of an anti-hero than a villain in the Black Panther movie. Even though he was quote unquote the main villain in that movie, what he did was for his people. So he was still a good guy, just doing bad things. You feel me? So that makes me wonder like how they gonna continue Loki's story at the end of this season. Like, is he gonna just go fully good? Which I doubt it, because one thing about Loki, they can't really change who he is like that. So the best safe route and smart route would for him to be anti-hero. Like help the heroes have whenever they need his help, but he's gonna still do what he want to do and still end up in situations where he's gonna have to probably end up fighting the heroes or going against them some way, shape, or form. And I would like that for Loki, but as of right now, I like this different approach that they're having with him, to where he's still more leaning to good right now because of what's going on. He wants because honestly, once again, if Loki could find a way to save himself in this situation that's going on with Kang, he probably would. But right now, it seems like he does not know no way out of this than to find Sylvie right now and figure out what the next step is. Because right now, he thinks that everybody's screwed, even him. So this is like one of those like um the enemy of my enemy is my friend type thing, or like one of those I forgot what the phrase is. Like, if to my anime and manga friends, think of like Goku and Piccolo when Raditz came. Piccolo was like, we gotta work together to beat this man. So it's kind of like that. But he was like, after I'm done beating him, you're next. But you know what I get. But like I said before, I'm gonna give this episode a 9 out of 10. Pacing's a little fast, confusion in like the beginning of the episode. So I hope that when I watch episode 3, which will either be as of the recording of this video today or maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure of. I would like to see more of what's going on. Yeah, but like I said, 9 out of 10. And I'm about to jump into the spoiler section of the video, to where I break down everything that happened from the beginning of the episode to the end as the best of my remembrance. So if you have not watched the episode and you look forward to watching it yourself, then this is where you would click off and go watch it. And hey, if you want to hear more about my opinion of the episode and how I break things down of the episode, feel free to come back and watch it. And with that being said, to everybody's going to stick around, I'll go into the spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Okay, so this is where I say I was kind of confused, because the episode takes off with Loki and Mobius tracking down B5. B5 was the agent or soldier or whatever you want to call it that one of the higher ups told him to go look for Sylvie. Now, I don't know how much time has passed since they finally found out where he was at, but that's basically why they're looking for him, because he was in charge of fighting Sylvie. The confusion is like they jump right into it. Like, you see Loki and Mobius coming out of a portal to where they believe B5 is, and in my mind it's like, how did y'all find out where he was? How much time has passed since you guys been looking for him? How did you guys find him? Like, though I don't think those questions were ever answered in the beginning or at all throughout this whole episode. So I was like, first I was like, what is going on? What did I miss something? I literally had to go back, look at episode 1 to make sure I did not miss something. But that was the confusing part. But anyway, they end up finding B5, and B5 as of when they found him, he was like a movie star or whatever. So it comes this big old chase scene with Mobius, Loki, and chasing B5, and this is when we get to see some of Loki's magic. Like, he used his green magic to blast them. He used the crowds of people, and he made clones of himself or images. He did like the shadow thing. He used the shadows to grab him. Like, it was nice seeing that. And they put the horns thing on Loki, so it still gives you that inside Loki, he's still a bad guy. He still thinks very highly of himself, subconsciously or whatever you want to call it, right? So I liked that. So they get B5, bring him to the interrogation room, and this is when Loki, Mobius, and B15 are in the interrogation room trying to basically ask or get B5 to tell them what Sylvie is. And this is when B5 is going. First, he goes back and forth with Loki, and he's telling Loki like, "You're a loser. You're a failure. You are made and here to fail. You think doing all this is going to redeem you. You're a bad person. You do bad things. So stay what you're good at and be bad. And he's just ripping into Loki, like really ripping at him, telling him like everything you did was your fault. You got your mother killed, your brother, this and that, whatever. I was like, damn. And Loki took all that. And at this point, I thought Loki was going to be like, who thank you for that. I always wanted to know how it would feel to be on the opposite side of the chair. I thought he was, but he didn't. Instead, he used that to embrace it, and he was like, you're right. I am a bad person. And you're right. Maybe I am just using all these guys so I could do something very terrible to you. But B5 didn't buy it. So then B5 went to Mobius. The Mobius was like, okay, just tell me what you want. Otherwise, you're going to disappear. We'll make you disappear. And then B5 was like, what about you, Mobius? You know none of this is real, right? None of this is real. You probably have a life somewhere on one of these time threads, and you're sitting here trying to do X, Y, and Z, and you could tell that it gets to Mobius, because once again, like I stated earlier, I'm sure that he's thinking like, what if I do have like a nice, great life somewhere on the time stream? I could be there instead of here. And it kind of messes with him because he's upset and angry about that, because he doesn't want to think that, he probably doesn't want to know nothing about that, because he's also probably scared. So they take Loki takes Mobius away to go get some pie. They have like a cool down moment, talking about everything. And this is where we also get to see that how Loki still ties back into the other Marvel movies, because he was telling Mobius like, I was angry like that one time. I kicked Tony Stark off his building because I couldn't enchant him, and I was so angry that I tried to get the Tesseract and take over New York and whatever, man. So he knows that he's a bad person. He knows the things that he did and everything. So after they had their little sit down, decompress and break, they go back to B5, and this is where I feel like Loki almost really went back to being bad, because their plan was to do bad cop, but secretly do bad cop, worst cop. They brought this little machine in the interrogation room to where it's like it puts you like in a box, and at the press of a button, it'll go smaller to like basically squishes you. And Loki made it seem like that he didn't go with Mobius' plan. He locked Mobius out the room, and he was telling Brad like, "You're right. Once again, I am bad. So let me go ahead and stick to what I'm good at." Puts B5 in a box, and he starts closing it slowly until like B5 gives up what Sylvie is. And honestly, I really thought that he was gonna go all the way. I swear. I swear I thought Loki was gonna really squish this man to death, because he was just really going, but he ended up stopping, and because he finally told him what Sylvie was. So I was like, dang, I would have liked to see what would have happened if he would have did it. Like how they would have had like did things from there. But after B5 gives up Sylvie, him, B5, Loki, B5, and Mobius go to where Sylvie is, and they find out that she's at living her life at McDonald's. And it also makes me wonder how much time has passed since then, because she's literally working at McDonald's. Got a car and all that stuff. She's living the life that she wants. It's like 1869 or something like that. McDonald's. That's a very old McDonald's, whatever. So Loki goes to Sylvie, and they have a little moment, and he tells her he wants to talk. He wants to tell her like, we need your help, cause shit that you did kind of messed us up. Like we have to figure out what to do. He tells her like, I've been jumping through time uncontrollably, and I jumped to the future where the TVA was like basically breaking down, and I saw you there. And she's like, okay, you saw me there, but guess what? That's the future. It hasn't been rented yet. And he was like, but it must be a reason why I saw you there. We need your help, because you want to protect what you got right now. You want to live your life working for McDonald's. You need to help us. Otherwise, you're going to lose all this. All this is gone, because when Cain comes, when he who remains comes, we are screwed. Screwed, I tell you, screwed. And in the middle of them talking, Mobius brought B5. And this is where we found out that all the agents that left in the portal at the end of episode 1, they all was planting bombs in different timelines to basically destroy the timelines, because if you remember in the beginning, the time tree or time thread is spreading, creating new forms of time throughout the multiverse, and they set up these bombs that basically erase time. And the crazy part is that not only are they erasing time, they're erasing lives. Billions, trillions of lives, bro. Like you look at the tree and you see it like going crazy. Like it's just decreasing, 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 decreasing. I'm sitting here like these people just committed the greatest genocide in the world, killing all them people like that. They ain't got shit on Hitler. They ain't got shit on who else that like just crazy, just gone. But Loki and Sylvie was able to stop some of them from destroying all of the timelines. They stopped them and they arrested the agents along with the head lady. I even know her name? I wonder if I can get her name real quick because I really don't. Let me see. Okay, I don't see her name, but it was just crazy how that happened. And then Sylvie, Loki, Mobius, and B5 get back to the TVA, and they see that the tree is like damn near, I mean, what tree or thread? It's like there's barely any threads left. And B15 was like, those are people that they just killed, innocent people. But then again, it's like, if they did they really kill them or did they like just send them to the void? Because remember when Loki got stabbed in his thing, he was sent to the void. He didn't really die. He went to the void and he was able to come back through He Who Remains and everything like that. The ending of season 1. So are those people really dead or are they like just their timelines just in the void now? That's a good question. But after that, Loki goes to Sylvie, and Sylvie was like, "You wanted me to come back for this? The TVA does nothing but destroy and ruin things. I'm going back to McDonald's." And Loki was like, "It's easier to leave than it is to stay," and she left because it was easier to leave, basically. And after that, the episode ends with her talking to one of her co-workers on her truck, basically telling him have a good night. She's sitting there eating fries, and it ends right there. So at that ending, I'm just like really looking forward to what's gonna happen now. Like, what's the next thing? Oh, and I forgot. Doing all that, B15 and what's the dude's name that they have? B15 and Casey. Casey's one of the workers that work for the TVA. B15 and Casey ended up going to OB. If you remember, OB's the guy that basically wrote the TVA handbook and built most of the stuff when he Who Remains was around. They went to OB to ask him, is there a way to find I think is there a way to find Sylvie or Mrs. What's the AI name? There's an AI. Miss Minutes. This Miss Minutes, the time clock thing. And Obi ends up telling them like the shutter gates that locked down the path, not the passageway. It locked down the gates to the time thread, basically. And he was saying like we need to get those gates open because if they don't open, then this place will basically be destroyed, which ties back to what Loki saw in the future, basically. And they was like, okay, so how do we fix that? And they was like, well, we need like the fingerprints or something of the person who created all this, which is He Who Remains. He's not around no more. Or the system could be overridden by Miss Minutes, which is the AI that worked along with He Who Remains. And right now, Miss Minutes is AI. I mean, Miss Minutes is MIA. She's MIA, and they still gotta find what's her name? They're also still looking for Renova, Revanov, Neva. I forgot the lady that was in charge of Mobius's boss. Basically, they're looking for her. So that's what B15 and Casey was doing. They went to him to see if they could help if he could help them find Mobius's boss. And not just that, but they also found out that Mobius's boss might also be working with He Who Remains, which Miss Minutes also is working with them. Actually, if you remember from the first episode, there was recording of He Who Remains talking with Mobius's boss. So Yeah, I'm thinking that's what episode 3 is going to be about Loki and Mobius finding out, oh yeah, we got to find Miss Minutes so we can all not die. And I'm guessing he's going to probably go back to Sylvie and ask Sylvie to help and everything. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy as hell. But that's my full review and spoiler section of my video of Loki Season 2, Episode 2. Appreciate everybody that decided to view this review. Links to my socials are all down below. Please follow me on all those. Hit the bell to be notified when I go live. I drop any of the content on my channel. Like, comment, subscribe, share if you don't mind. Thumbs up or thumbs down. What was your favorite part about this episode? What are you looking forward to episode 3? What do you think about now that Sylvie is like somewhat back in the game? She's gonna come back fully, but like, what do you think of everything going on with her right now? What do you think about Loki? Do you think he's gonna go fully good? Probably not. Most likely not. Do you think he's gonna be an anti-hero, helping the heroes out when they need his help? Or you think after all this is done that he's gonna just turn completely back to his original ways? What do you think about Morbius? Do you think he's ever gonna figure out what his life was before the TVA? Do you think B-15 is gonna figure out her life before the TVA? Do you think he's gonna stay in his life before the TVA, or decide to like go back and just figure things out with the TVA? Where do you think Miss Menace is? Where do you think Mobius's boss is? Do you think that at some point in this season, Kang will make an appearance again? And not he remains, but Kang. Kang. Let me know down below. Discord will be also in the description, so if you want to chat, questions, let me know about anything related to TV shows, movies, or gaming, hit me up on Discord or in the comments also. Thanks for spending your time with Tea Time. I'll see you guys on the next review of Loki Season 2.